Yo, what is up guys? Delboy here. A quick post-fight video for Ryan Walsh versus Hairon Socarras. Now this was obviously part of the MTK Golden Contract Featherweight Tournament, and I have to say, I really enjoyed the night of boxing. We will start with Ryan Walsh versus Hairon Socarras. Now this was a very good fight, thoroughly enjoyable. First 4 rounds, both guys were taking their time, utilising their jabs, trying to set up their power punches. Both guys were actually putting quite a lot into their power shots. Both guys were also working the body fairly effectively, although some were going low from both men. And yeah, the first 4 rounds were very competitive. You could have scored it 2-2 after 4, maybe 3-1 to Hairon Socarras. Very close, very competitive, and an enjoyable watch. Round 5 was when the fight really picked it up a notch. Ryan Walsh actually dropped Socarras with a left hook, kind of dropped him against the ropes, and the ropes kept him up. So it was counted as a knockdown. Beautiful shot from Ryan Walsh. Walsh tried to apply a bit of pressure after that knockdown to obviously get the stoppage. Couldn't do it, and Socarras saw out the rest of the round. In fact, he finished the round quite strongly, landed a couple of good shots towards the end, and the next couple of rounds 6 and 7, were very competitive. Both guys had their moments, both guys going back and forth, but you kind of got the sense that Ryan Walsh's shots had more power and were more hurtful. Also, Ryan Walsh was taking the power of Socarras fairly comfortably. Ryan Walsh never looked hurt in this fight at all, whereas Socarras was clearly bothered by the power of Ryan Walsh. But yeah, rounds 6, 7 and 8, all competitive rounds, back and forth, again bodywork in play from both guys. Again, both guys going low from time to time, but a really enthralling scrap. Socarras may have won a couple of those rounds after the knockdown because he was actually showcasing some good punch output. And, going into the 9th round, it was a very close fight ultimately. I felt you could have had a guy a point up either way. It was that type of fight. But in round 9, Ryan Walsh hurt Socarras to the head. I think it was with a right hand, I want to say. But he hurt him and he had him against the ropes. He landed a barrage of punches. Socarras tried to defend himself. He was trying to bob and weave, avoid the shots, but he wasn't throwing anything back, and he was starting to get nailed. Good stoppage by the referee, and a very good performance from Ryan Walsh. I actually felt the Cuban would win this fight, to be quite honest, because ultimately I wasn't really impressed with Ryan Walsh's last performance against Lewis Paulin, and I heard he struggled to make the weight, so I was actually picking against him to win this fight. I felt because of those factors, the Cuban may actually edge this one out, but wasn't to be. Ryan Walsh got the 9th round stoppage in a really good fight. Another great fight on this bill was Leigh Wood versus David Oliver Joyce. Now this was a great fight, man. Really good fight. Leigh Wood started this fight extremely well in the first 4 rounds, sticking and moving, switching stances, boxing really well from range, walking Joyce onto jabs and onto counter power shots. He actually dropped Joyce in the 2nd round with a short left hand. Really good shot, really good timing from Leigh Wood. And in the first 4 rounds, Leigh Wood was pretty much in control. But Joyce, to his credit, in rounds 5 and 6, began to apply a lot more pressure. And rounds 5 and 6 were arguably Joyce's best rounds of the fight, working the body up close, mauling, landing, clipping, clubbing shots to the head. Rounds 5 and 6, I felt Joyce was starting to get back into the fight. And after round 6, I was thinking to myself, Leigh Wood needed a big round in this fight because it felt like the momentum was switching. But round 7 was certainly a big round, and one that he needed. Leigh Wood dominated round 7. He badly hurt Joyce with a series of shots, and he dropped Joyce towards the end of the round as well. In fact, I think he actually dropped him twice in round 7. But basically round 7 was all Leigh Wood. Round 7 really knocked the stuffing out of David Oliver Joyce. It really did. And he was lucky to see out the round because he was quite badly hurt. Round 8, again, Leigh Wood trying to be aggressive, trying to take the initiative, looking for that stoppage. He managed to wobble Joyce in round 8 with a nice left hand, but to Joyce's credit, he continued to fight on and showed good heart and bravery. But, you could tell the end was nigh. And round 9 was where the fight ended. Basically, Joyce was staggered with a right hand. He was rocked and he took a backward step. And the referee at this point saw fit to stop the fight. I've seen a few people online say that the stoppage was premature. And I can see why they think that, if I'm being honest. Because the stoppage itself, if it was at the start of a fight and a fight got stopped like that, yes, it would be premature. But Joyce was taking a beating. He got dropped a couple of times. He was hurt a few times. He was defending himself less and less. And he was having less and less success. It was a long, tough fight where he took a beating. He got hurt again. And the referee decided to jump in. Maybe it was a bit premature. But at the same time, I don't really have a big problem with this stoppage. But Leigh Wood boxed really well. He looked good. Another really good fight on this card. So credit to Leigh Wood for getting the win. That was the fight I was most unsure about going into this tournament. So yeah, credit to Leigh Wood. Also on the card, your boy Jazza Dickens. Jazza Dickens defeated Carlos Ramos by a unanimous decision in a battle of the southpaws. Carlos Ramos started the fight well. In round 1, he applied some good pressure, landed some good single shots. He won the first round, but after round 1, it was pretty much controlled by Jazza Dickens. Dickens was finding a home for that southpaw jab, and he was finding that long left hand behind it. He was picking his shots really well, working the body effectively, and he boxed a steady and composed fight. Jazza Dickens, a clear winner over Carlos Ramos. I actually felt going into this fight, this could be a tough fight for Jazza Dickens, but, proved not to be the case. A routine, unanimous decision for Jazza Dickens. And last but not least, we have Tyrone McCulloch. He defeated a late replacement by the name of Razzaq Najeeb. McCulloch won a unanimous decision, and I've got to be honest, this was the worst fight on the card. Very scrappy, very messy, Najeeb was like kind of a messy pressure fighter, kind of awkward, a bit herky-jerky, and McCulloch really struggled to maintain his range, and he struggled to keep Najeeb at bay, and it just resulted in a messy fight. McCulloch clearly won the fight. He was the right man to win this fight, but yeah, poor fight in general, worst fight on the card. But other than that, I really enjoyed this card, and goes to show when you've got evenly matched fights, no matter at what level, you're going to get good cards most of the time. And yeah, I enjoyed this card. I really like the concept of these golden contract tournaments by MTK, because they're guys who are in and around domestic level, who are looking to get to that next step. If you win a tournament like this, your career is on and up, basically. So yeah, man, I enjoyed this card. I enjoyed the first set of semi-finals, and we will see how the rest of the tournaments play out. By the way, if anybody wasn't aware, there are also MTK tournaments for light heavyweight and also super lightweight. The super lightweight one in particular looks very interesting. So there we go, looking forward to it. But yeah, enjoyable night of boxing on a Friday night. I enjoyed the card. Share your thoughts below. Tell me how you felt about these fights. What was your favourite? What was your least favourite? Who do you think will win the featherweight tournament? I think right now, if I had to bet, my money would be on Ryan Walsh to win this, followed by Leigh Wood. Those would be my two favourites anyway. But yeah, share your thoughts below. Tell me how you felt about this card. Peace.